Check out the latest highlights from the Nourishing You podcast.
So as we think about what our topic is today with metabolic flexibility, as we think about what's going on in our country right now and really around the world, but the prevalence of metabolic disease like type 2 diabetes being on the rise the way it is, you're well known for helping clients become more metabolically flexible so they can burn fat, become healthier, get to a good body composition, that type of thing. So just for our audience, if we could start out by having you just define metabolic flexibility, what is that? It's kind of a trendy catchphrase right now. So what does it mean? Why is it important? And how can it help improve our health?
Sure. In the fitness world, as you all know, like everything's kind of divided into sort of their own little camp of, you have the keto people, the carnivore people, the high carb people, whatever. And there's some truth to all of that. But if we back up and we look how a normal healthy metabolism works, on one end of the spectrum, like you should be able to use and process carbohydrates quite well, right? So one of the definitions of someone who's a diabetic is they have a hard time processing and using carbohydrates. On the other end of the spectrum, you should be able to process and use fat very effectively also. So for metabolic flexibility is how well can you use carbohydrates on one end, how well can you use fat on the other end of the spectrum, and then how well can you transition back and forth between the two. So the nice part about it is that for clients from a practical purpose, they can still have the energy to train, do whatever they want. Higher intensity stuff will use more carbohydrates, but they'll be able to get a better body composition because when they're using, let's say, lower carbohydrate periods, or they're going for a walk, or just kind of their day-to-day activities, their body can downregulate and also use fat as a fuel. So you're trying to get the best of both worlds. And it turns out that someone who is more metabolically flexible is, as you mentioned, a marker for metabolic health itself on top of it.
If you enjoyed this short episode, check out our full library on our NAMP YouTube channel, where you can catch up or learn more. Keep in mind that the information on the NAMP podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical or legal advice. The NAMP is not liable or responsible for any harm, damage, or illness arising from the use of the information contained herein. By listening to the information on this podcast, you agree to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless the NAMP and all agents. Copyright NAMP, all rights reserved.